That was not a great day. See the picture. Is everything okay? You all set? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I really want to thank you, President of the United States, dear Donald, for the fact that you, as I said before, broke the deadlock with President Putin by starting that dialogue. And I think it was in February that you had the first phone call, and from there we are now where we are today. And that is, I think, if we play this well, we could end this. And we have to end this. We have to stop the killing. We have to stop the destruction of Ukraine's infrastructure. It is a terrible war. So I'm really excited. And let's make the best out of today and make sure that from today onwards we get this thing to an end as soon as possible. I really want to thank you for your leadership, what you are doing for Volodymyr, but of course also all the European colleagues. It is really crucial.
It's an honor to have the President of Ukraine with us. We've had a lot of good discussions, a lot of good talks, and I think progress is being made, very substantial progress in many ways. We had a good meeting, as you know, just a short while ago with the President of Russia, and I think there's a possibility that something could come out of it, and today's meeting is very important. We have, I guess, the seven very powerful leaders from Europe, and we're going to be meeting with them right after this meeting. And thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. If I can, first of all, thank you for invitation, and thank you very much for your efforts, personal efforts to stop killings and stop this war. Thank you. And using this opportunity, many thanks to your wife, First Lady of the United States. She sent a letter to Putin about our children, abducted children, and my wife, she, First Lady of Ukraine, she gave the letter. It's not to you, to your wife.
Oh, I want it.
Yeah. So we are saying this sensitive topic. Yes, please. And thanks to our partners, and that you supported this format. That after our meeting we can have leaders who are around us, the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Finland, EU, NATO. I mean, all partners around Ukraine supporting us. Thanks to them, and thank you very much for invitation.
Thank you very much for being here.
The meeting is over, and yes, they are smiling in the Oval Office, where I gotta say, it really wasn't that bad of a meeting. A lot was said here. First, we do know that Zelensky showed up in a suit. Trump did like that very much. Zelensky handed Trump a letter from the First Lady to Melania Trump. Zelensky thanked the president in the United States. He also said he appreciates Donald Trump trying to end Russia's war in Ukraine. And then really things got down into business, in which Donald Trump did not rule out sending U.S. troops to Ukraine to maintain peace as a security guarantee. That is not being ruled out at this time. And to quote him there, it was asked by a journalist, he says, "We'll let you know that maybe later on today." Remember, at this very moment, they are now, meaning Zelensky, Trump, is now meeting with a lot of European leaders to discuss this. Keep in mind that Trump did say that Europe would have to take the lead in this. They're at the front line, saying down here, they are first line of defense because they're there, Europe. But we're going to help out. Also, we'll be involved. We have people waiting in the other room right now. They're all here from Europe, biggest people in Europe, and they want to give protection. They feel very strong about it, and we'll give them help out with that. But of course, Donald Trump is pushing not for a ceasefire, but rather a peace deal, though he is open to a ceasefire. When it comes to security guarantees, Trump says they're going to get good security and good protection. So, all very good signs. And a few things to add in with this meeting. Ukraine did bring a map to show what everything is. I think mostly to explain what's Donetsk and Luhansk versus Sumy and Kharkiv regions that, Putin wants that swap for, and how that is really not a fair thing. And because Ukraine wants to start negotiations from this line here. But I also want to add in the fact, you remember that reporter who talked to Zelensky about his suit? Yeah, he apologized during this meeting, and realistically speaking, I still think that guy should not be allowed anywhere, but since his wife or his girlfriend is friends with everyone, that's why he's there. More than likely, the big decisions on things are going to be happening after the European meeting, but it honestly feels like this is the first time we're really moving in the right direction. But I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. I'll be sure to keep you updated. I'll also do a bigger breakdown on this later on today, so please do share my video.
You can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots. And we, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots because they're corrupt. And you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses them because of what's happened. Massive fraud all over the place. The other thing we want change are the machines. For all of the money they spend, it's approximately 10 times more expensive than paper ballots. And paper ballots are very sophisticated with the watermark paper and everything else. We would get secure elections. We'd get much faster results. The machines, they say we're going to have the results in 2 weeks. With paper ballots, you have the results that night. Most people, many countries use paper ballots. It's the most secure form. So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots, and I think maybe even more important, the mail-in voting. We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter with this commission, they set it up. He said the one thing about mail-in voting, you will never have an honest election if you have mail-in. And it's time that the Republicans get tough and stop it because the Democrats want it. It's the only way they can get elected. Because with men and women's sports and with transgender for everybody and open borders and all of the horrible things, and now the new thing is they love crime. They're fighting me on the fact that I've made Washington, D.C. safe. We're not going to get mugged, beaten up, or killed like all the people you've been watching get so badly hurt. I'm glad, I hate to take your time with this, but I'm glad you asked me that question. Sorry. We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt. When you go to a voting booth and you do it the right way and you go to a state that runs it properly, you go in, they even ask me. They asked me for my license plate, for identity. I said, I don't know if I have it. They said, sir, you have to have it. I was very impressed, actually. But it's very hard to cheat with mail-in voting. As you know what happens in California, it's so corrupt, where some people get 5, 6, 7 ballots delivered to them. Now, we got to stop mail-in voting, and the Republicans have to lead the charge. The Democrats want it because they have horrible policy. If you have mail-in voting, you're not going to have many Democrats get elected. That's bigger than anything having to do with redistricting, believe me. And the Republicans have to get smart. We're not going to have a country. I said for a long time at rallies, you need borders and you need free and fair elections.